Hi, Sagittarius. Welcome to your end of July 2025 general tarot update. It's Rena here. Sun and Sag, not Venus, Mercury and Sagittarius. And yeah, so it's really funny because I did Scorpio's reading right before yours, and then I did it again, and I'm thinking, oh, was that supposed to be for Sag? But I don't. If I was saying Scorpio, I'm not going to just assume that was for Sag. So this is definitely intended for the sign of Sagittarius. So let's see what we've got here. Oh, wow. That's a good start. Wow. It's funny. I got, ooh, what's going on here? Okay, there we go. Very interesting. I'm thinking about my own situation here. And I do these cards. Let's see. I'm going to pick something in between. Pick this one. Oh, wow. Do I dare end on the death card? Well, I'm going to, the death card doesn't have to be something bad at all. This is really about a lot of change. And we see the Tower card, the death card. So, but the Star card, that's at the centerpiece. I'm going to pick one more card just to see what kind of clarification. Six of Pentacles. Okay. All right. Okay. Let's talk about this. I'm just collecting all of these, so let me get them out of the way. Wow. Quite a spread here. So the heart of the matter is the Star card. This is connected to Aquarius, the sign of Aquarius, and it's numbered 17. On August 9th, there will be a full moon at 17 degrees of Aquarius. Could this be for some Sagittarians some sort of time that will be important for you? Possibly. I always kind of look at all the angles. And so, I've been saying this to all the signs that get this in a prominent position because I do feel it's quite special, the fact that full moon. I feel like that is definitely something that can be important to certain people. But I'll just talk about what this card means in general. The Star card, to me, the more that I work with this card, the more that I think that it's giving a person an acknowledgement that they've been through a lot and they've come through the other side. Even if there's still things that they have to work out, even if like it's on the precipice of great change and they're like, wait a minute, how can I come through the other side when I haven't even experienced the major change that I'm on the cusp of? Because it's more of an energetic thing. It's more of an attitudinal thing rather than all of your ducks being in a row and da-da-da-da-da. Although it could be pointing to that as well if things have felt chaotic and maybe even hopeless, because this is about hope restored, that something comes that is, maybe in the 11th hour. Aquarius rules the 11th house. And it's all, the 11th house is the house of hopes and wishes. So something coming to you that you have wanted that maybe you thought was dead in the water, that it wasn't going to happen. And it happens. And in the past position, this is another card that's similar as a minor arcana card to that same vibration of kind of feeling like you have to put your feelings aside about something because maybe you have to make a choice and it's a hard choice, or you have to deal with a certain situation and it's not an easy situation. And in terms of choices, typically the two that we are talking about are, deciding to leave a job or change careers or leave a relationship. And your emotions it can be an emotional tug of war. And the Queen of Swords is like, no, I want you to look at this from a purely objective and mental, intellectual way of dealing with this, instead of just the sentimentality. But it's not the same as the King of Swords, which is kind of devoid of all feeling, because the Queen actually represents the water element. So it's not saying that you're shutting down emotionally, but you're kind of transcending your emotions. You're kind of observing them. And then it's like head over heart. So you're doing what is best for you, that you know logically, even though emotionally you may be like a wreck. And this is something that you may have decided recently that you just have to do. That and maybe you haven't fully done it, but it's, it's something that is going to happen. And the Tower card could be like, it's going to happen regardless. So you might as well be on board. Also, queens can be mothers, and the mother who is the, maybe kind of more sharp-tongued type of, like a critical mother. This person may help you, or may have already helped you. But even though this is the past position, I feel like it is in transit, if you will, that the ball is rolling. You may not know this fully yet, but this is the outcome, the ultimate outcome. So that's what I feel like. The higher message is the Tower card. This is the card we all know, the Tower moment. And as a spiritual message, it's like talking about inevitable shifts. Sagittarius is a mutable sign, so Sages don't necessarily just fear change, but there may be one area of life that is really hard for you to kind of feel comfortable about. It's always an area, for some people it might be financial area where they tend to have a lot of doubt, or maybe they've struggled in the past, and so they tend to be more cautious. But whatever this is, this could indicate that there is release. It's not just like chaos, mayhem. It's release. It's like you're being freed from something. And this is a blessing. It's like, it's like if you've ever been on a roller coaster, and if you're afraid of, even if you love roller coasters, I was always kind of afraid of them, but I did go on a couple that were, especially one that was really scary. But it's like when you're in that part that really is high and you're going to drop, and it's like that's when you're dropping, you might be like, your heart might be racing, but it's almost like, are you having fun yet? Because this is supposed to be fun. You're at an amusement park, but it feels like you're going to die, And this is kind of like when things are up in the air, or they change sometimes like in an instant. And I feel like the Tower can be that, change agent that you kind of like, in retrospect, you say, this is the moment that my life changed. And you might have more than one of those in your life. I'm not just saying there's one moment, but certainly, it could be love at first sight. And actually, the Star card, I feel like this could be like something with love for sure, where you meet somebody and you just have that instant recognition. The Queen of Swords in the past position can be the person who has been through the ringer and they are trying to stay detached because they don't want to get hurt. But it's like, Tower is that instantaneous thing. Also, spiritual upgrades, I suppose you could say as well. The card that crosses you is the Four of Wands. So you may be having some kind of spiritual upgrades, romantic connections, but maybe your domestic life, this can even be like marriage, could be where it is imbalanced in some way. If you are somebody, now I'm not saying that this is a new phenomenon. This is something that may be ongoing, but, and this is where it gets a little bit tricky, because if somebody has an unhappy or troubled marriage, and marriage can mean, like a relationship with another person, a romantic relationship, and they meet somebody else that they instantly connect with, as wonderful as that can be, it opens up a whole new can of worms. And so it becomes like, now I feel like hopeful again about life. I was feeling like life was, lackluster. And now I'm just like really on cloud nine. But what do I do about this relationship, this marriage? And that can be messy. That's not going to be necessarily easy. So it's not to suggest that everything is just hunky-dory, even if you did meet somebody new. If the Star card is renewing some area of your life, you still may have your domestic side of life. Maybe there's something in particular that is up in the air about your living situation. And one of the reasons why this is true astrologically is because we are going to have an eclipse in Pisces on September 7th at 15 degrees of Pisces. And for Sag, this is the fourth house of home and family. But in addition to that, the eclipses can manifest, in other words, they can be active 6 weeks before the official date, which would take us into the last week of July. So during this time frame that I'm doing this reading, in other words, you could feel that thing. And, some of you may already feel that sense of things are up in the air, or there's some uncertainty with the domestic side of life for some reason. What's coming in is the Two of Wands. Should I stay or should I go? The person is holding the world in their hands. So that could be about something about moving, relocation, for sure. For some people, this is career, because the wands relate to careers. Maybe you're thinking about a change in careers, but, you're not sure about the timing, or there are other factors that you have to consider. The outcome is the Death card, so it's kind of, to me, a card of affirmation that something is ending, and it could be a general cycle in your life that is ending. Maybe, like, for instance, if you have, with the Four of Wands in the challenge position, maybe you have a child that was going to stay home and commute to college and has decided that they want to go away. So you are going to have that empty nest. And so that may be something that you've been resisting. And it's funny that the the Tower card is right above the Death card. I mean, that could be something that is very sudden, swift, and totally kaput, quite suddenly. But in terms of like any kind of thing that you were resisting because you didn't want to have to be in a different phase of life. And, of course, it could be like a relationship too that, and this would be a very serious one, like a marriage with the Four of Wands in the challenge position. The Tower card might bring up something that was hidden. And of course, as a Sagittarian, you're a sun in Sag, your ascendant can be anything, and that may be in alignment with this particular reading. So maybe you're going to have a full moon in your that Aquarius full moon is falling in your 7th house of committed partnership. Also, we have a new moon in Leo on the 24th of July. And so that could be something, especially if somebody's traveling. That's the house that Sag rules, the 9th house. That could be some kind of development. But actually it's only at like 2 degrees, so it could be in the 8th house for you. And then that would be any secret coming out. So I picked a clarification card. And actually this card is connected to Scorpio, and that new moon could be in the house of Scorpio. So 6 of Pentacles, this is a card, this is one of the inheritance cards. So, obviously when we look at death, we have to say that some people may have been dealing with inheritance issues, money issues, and this would be a card that kind of relates to that. But also anything to do with marriage, money, any kind of 6 of Pentacles is equal energy exchange. So if that's kind of like, it's clearing the way for that. So whether this is a new job, a new relationship, there's something that you're hopeful for that seems more balanced. And that could be, something that can give you a new lease on life. Talking about the death card, well, that's the ending, and now this is the beginning. So that's what I have for you, Sag. I hope that you resonate with this message, and if you would like a private reading, be it astrology, the tarot, or both, please click on the link below for more information. Take care. Bye.